Ericson S64 air crane. It looks like a flying crane that someone decided to turn into a firefighter, and that's essentially what it is. The S64 is a heavy lift helicopter originally built for construction and logging, but its ability to carry massive external loads made it a natural fit for aerial firefighting. The most recognizable version carries a large belly tank that can hold up to 2,650 gallons of water, or retardant. What sets it apart is the helitanker snorkel system, which lets the pilot refill the tank by hovering just above a lake or river for about 45 seconds without ever needing to land. It can make multiple drops in rapid succession, which is something fixed-wing aircraft simply can't do. You'll often see them working wildfires across California and southern Europe, where speed and repeated coverage matter more than anything else. Firefighting hovercraft. Most people don't immediately connect hovercraft with firefighting, but in certain environments, they're one of the only options available. Hovercrafts travel equally well over water, mud, shallow marshes, and debris-covered ground, which makes them extremely useful in industrial port fires, flooded areas, or any terrain that would stop a regular truck or boat. Some models are equipped with high-capacity foam cannons and water pumps, fed by the surface they're traveling over. The Netherlands and parts of Scandinavia have used them for years along waterways where conventional vehicles simply can't reach. They're not fast in the traditional sense, but their ability to move through environments that would trap anything else gives them a very specific and irreplaceable role. JRM Mars. It is one of the largest flying boats ever built, and the fact that it ended up fighting fires is almost an accident of history. The Mars was originally a World War II-era US Navy patrol aircraft designed for long ocean missions. After the war, only a handful survived, and they were eventually converted into aerial water tankers for the British Columbia Forest Service and Canada. The conversion was enormous in scale. Each aircraft could scoop up nearly 7,000 gallons of water from a lake in under 30 seconds while skimming the surface at speed, then drop it in a single pass over a fire. For decades, the Mars bombers were the largest aerial firefighting aircraft in the world. Their sheer size and water capacity made them genuinely difficult to replace, and they flew active service well into the 2000s. Colossus Fire Robot. It is a remotely operated firefighting machine built specifically for situations where sending in a human crew is too dangerous. Developed by Shark Robotics, a French company based in La Rochelle, France, the Colossus was designed after several firefighters battling a warehouse place where the heat and structural instability made entry impossible. The robot is tracked like a military vehicle, allowing it to push through debris and move steadily across unstable ground. It can carry a hose delivering water or foam at high pressure, and it's armored well enough to withstand temperatures that would person in seconds. Operators control it from a safe distance using cameras mounted on the unit. Paris deployed the Colossus during the Notre Dame Cathedral fire in 2019, where it helped crews attack the blaze from inside the building without risking additional lives. Kaman K-MAX helicopter. It was designed as an unmanned cargo helicopter, but its precision lifting ability made it attractive for firefighting in tight terrain. The K-MAX uses an intermeshing rotor system where two rotors cross each other in opposite directions, which eliminates the need for a tail rotor and gives the pilot or autonomous system much finer control over load placement. In firefighting configuration, it carries a large bucket that can be refilled at a water source between drops. What makes it stand out is that it can operate without a pilot on board, which means it can fly into smoke-heavy corridors that would disorient a human crew. The US Forest Service has tested unmanned K-MAX operations in wildfire conditions, and the results pointed toward a future where aerial firefighting can continue around the clock regardless of visibility. Amphibious fire truck. It is a fire truck built to function on both road and water. Harbor environments create a particular challenge because a vessel fire or a waterfront structure sitting over the water can't always be reached from land. An amphibious pumper carries standard firefighting equipment alongside a marine propulsion system, so when the road ends at the dock, the vehicle keeps going. Singapore and Hong Kong have operated them along their harbor fronts for years, and several European port authorities use them for the same reason. The same crew that drove through the streets can continue the response from the water side without waiting for a separate marine unit to arrive. K-Fire Truck. It is a miniature fire truck developed in Japan to reach places a standard engine never could. Much of rural Japan and its older urban neighborhoods have lanes too narrow for a conventional vehicle, and the traditional wooden construction common in those areas makes fires spread fast. Japan's K-Vehicle category, which caps engine size at 660 cc and enforces strict dimensional limits, made it possible to to build a fire truck small enough to actually fit. Most of them are operated by volunteer fire brigades known as shobudan, who have served local communities across Japan for generations. They carry a small water tank and enough hose for an initial attack, while heavier resources work their way in. On their own, they're limited, but in areas where nothing bigger can pass through, they're the only immediate option available. MVF-5. It is a remote-controlled firefighting vehicle built by DOKING, a Croatian manufacturer known for producing unmanned ground machines for dangerous environments. The MVF-5 was designed specifically for tunnel fires and large industrial emergencies, places where the heat builds up fast and the confined space makes it nearly impossible to send in a crew safely. It rides on a tracked chassis, giving it stability across uneven or debris-covered ground, and it carries a high-output water and foam cannon that can rotate to direct suppression without repositioning the whole vehicle. The operator works from a safe distance, using a control system fed by onboard cameras. Tunnels, in particular, present one of the most difficult scenarios in firefighting because there's only one way in and the same way out, so having a machine that can go in first changes the equation significantly. Firefighting drone. For most of firefighting history, getting an aerial view of a fire meant sending up a helicopter, which is expensive and takes time to deploy. Drones changed that. Modern firefighting drones carry thermal imaging cameras that can see through smoke and identify hotspots invisible to the naked eye, giving ground crews information they couldn't get any other way. Some larger models are capable of dropping water or retardant on small, hard-to-reach ignition points before they spread. Others are used to map the fire perimeter in real time, helping commanders make faster decisions about where to position resources. They're relatively low cost, quick to deploy, and carry no risk to a crew. In wildfire management especially, the situational awareness they provide has become something most modern fire operations struggle to work without. LUF-60. It's a compact, remote-controlled firefighting unit built specifically for one of the hardest environments to work in, tunnels and underground spaces. What makes it different from most firefighting machines is how it attacks a fire. Instead of just directing a water stream at the source, the LUF-60 uses a powerful turbine fan to propel a fine water mist forward at high velocity, pushing the mixture deep into a smoke-filled space while simultaneously cooling the air temperature around it. That combination of forced airflow and water mist can suppress a fire from a much safer distance than a conventional hose would allow. It's compact enough to fit through tunnel passages and controlled remotely, so no crew member needs to enter the space while conditions are still dangerous. Steam-powered engine fire truck. It changed firefighting permanently when it appeared in the mid-1800s. Before steam engines, fires were fought with hand-pumped equipment that required large numbers of men working together just to maintain pressure. The steam-powered pumper, first practically deployed in the 1850s in cities like Cincinnati and London, could generate far more water pressure with far fewer people and sustain it for hours. The machines were pulled by horses at first and later by early motorized vehicles. They were loud, required skilled operators, and took time to build up steam pressure, but once running, they outperformed anything that came before them. Their introduction also helped shift firefighting from volunteer organizations relying on brute human effort into something closer to a trained professional service. Most fire museums around the world keep at least one running example, and some are still demonstrated today.